DC, so good to talk to you. Look, matched up with Stipe Miocic again, just quickly, or as long as you want really. How does it look the second time around?
I mean, I anticipate a harder fight. Obviously, when I started to weigh the positives and negatives to this fight, it's like, how can I do this better than I did the first time? But then I accepted that you don't have to. You got to just go out there and fight. And if I go out there and do what I'm supposed to do, it doesn't matter if it takes 25 minutes. I still get my hand raised. I'm excited about the fight because of all the things that Stipe has done in his career. So if Stipe has defended the belt more than anybody ever, and I beat him twice, they got to start to put me in the conversation for not only greatest heavyweight of all time, again, greatest fighter of all time.
Well, I was going to say, with only a few fights probably left in your career, by choice, obviously, and we were looking at a potential Brock Lesnar fight. That's a big money fight. Why was it that the rematch with Stipe was well, you've said why it's of interest, but one that, stood out to you?
Because even when I fought Stipe Miocic the first time and I beat him, and me and Brock went through the whole thing, we're pushing and screaming and yelling and all this, right? I always said, if Stipe Miocic, if I didn't fight Brock, I'd fight Stipe. I've always said I would give him a rematch. He's deserved it. He's earned it with all the things that he's done. And when Brock fell out, I said, okay, I'll fight Stipe.
And
it essentially came down just to my word.
Yeah, absolutely. And how many fights do you think you've got left? I know you don't want to talk about retiring going into a fight, but you've talked about how much you put your family through of this,
yeah.
What you've been through with your career. How much more?
I think you just go fight by fight. There is no two or one or this one could be the very last one. It really can be. But then it would be if something very special came aboard, then maybe I'll fight again. But at this point, it's just one at a time.
And obviously when we talk about something special, everyone talks about Jon Jones and potentially a third match between two of you. Have you heard lately how Jon's been talking with a lot of respect about yourself? And obviously with the animosity there's been between the two of you, what do you respond to that?
I haven't really listened to much of it. Obviously we'll talk about it, but I think that's never been I don't think that's ever been an issue. I think I've always respected him for who he is as a competitor. I think he's always respected me as a competitor and the things that I bring to the table. But the other issues they were always the other issues. But I still believe competitively it would always be the exact same way. So respectful or not, if a fight gets scheduled between Jon and I, it will always be the same exact way.
And Jon would want that fight at light heavyweight. He said going up to heavyweight, he knows what a beast you are at heavyweight as well. He doesn't necessarily want to go into your domain and fight you there. He feels, and I don't know whether that's the respect he's talking about, he says light heavyweight. And you've also said that you'd want to beat him where he beat you. Is that how you're thinking still?
Yes, it's absolutely how I'm thinking. I don't want to stack the deck. I've always been a guy that's overcome odds. I've always had to overcome odds from wrestling to fighting to everything. And how much would people expect of me after I've lost to him twice, especially how I lost to him the last time? So for me, it would be about overcoming those odds again. So yeah, I would definitely want it to be at 205, but it would cost. It would cost a lot of money to get me to go back down to 205.
You're comfortable here at heavyweight?
I mean, I feel good. I sat on my butt for the last 6 months after my back surgery and gained a whole bunch of weight. So now I'm losing it, but I still would have to lose a lot of weight to make 205, but it would cost.
And having fought Jon twice before, what do you do differently the third time around?
I just got to really stay the course. I think we made some really good adjustments in the second fight, but I just did not stay the course. I started having success in that fight, and I lost myself for a moment. I think I build on the game plan that we had in fight number 2, and just really stay laser focused, because if not, you see what can happen as it happened to me in fight number 2.
And you've already cemented your legacy in this sport, but is it something that's personal to you to feel like you've fulfilled everything you want to beat Jones?
I don't need to. That's a difference. Before it was like everything I did was with the idea of getting back to fighting him. That's not the case anymore. I just have to go do my thing. I don't worry about what Jon does or what he's been up to. I mean, my career has been going on a completely different path than his, and I'm completely fine with that. But my goals that I set out in the beginning of my career have all been accomplished, right? I've won a belt in every organization I've ever fought in. I've won 2 belts in the UFC. I've cemented myself as one of the greatest fighters of all time, and that doesn't need anyone to cement that for me.
And we'd agree with you there. It's always so awesome to talk to you, Daniel. We can't wait to watch you fight again.
Thank you, Caroline.